Hello, and welcome back to another special episode of the Grow Your Occupancy Podcast. This is part two in the Resolving the Occupancy Puzzle series. This webinar is brought to you by SalesMail, the #1 personalized video app for senior living.
Built on a powerful ROI and an unmatched customer experience, SalesMail's App Store ratings tell the only story you need to know. Generating higher click-through and conversion rates, SalesMail is a video app of choice for sales and marketing pros everywhere. Day after day, SalesMail users leverage video to build brand loyalty, create human connection, quickly establish trust, stand out from competitors, and get desired results faster.
I'm Julie Podewitz, CEO and founder of Grow Your Occupancy and author of Resolving the Occupancy Puzzle. Today's episode, we're going to dive into planning. Specifically, if you're following along, it's chapter 2. And chapter 2 outlines what I call a regional plan or the regional planner. You can download, there's a QR code in the book. On page 26, there's a visual of the plan of the outline, and then you can download it. Copy, it's in Excel. Certainly you can tweak it to fit your needs. The content is important. It's simple. It's not meant to be extensive. It's not meant to be a weekly tracker or a place to keep coaching notes. I cover that in another podcast. I am a big note taker. Certainly there's AI in helping put notes together, which makes that part of everything that much easier to make sure that you're reading those and they encapsulate everything that you wanted to capture. But let's talk about the importance of this planner. It looks so simple, and it is, but it does take some time to think through each of the components. This is set up as a quarterly planner, and it has the KPIs necessary for regionals. Certainly you can tweak this for your own business. If you're a sales director, VP of sales, if you're a VP of sales or CMO, CSO, each one of your regionals does this on a regular basis. You can use this tool for your coaching sessions and for your kind of evaluations, very high level, to see where there's areas of opportunity. Okay, so let's go section by section. First of all, I'll speak to you as someone who has a region, so a group of communities, a group of assets. First thing you want to do is prioritize. So you're going to take your most challenged communities, most challenged assets as the top priority, and then you have middle and then lower. So which maybe three to four in your top priority, no more than that. The rest go in the middle. Your highest performing are your lowest priority. You're not going to ignore them, but they're not going to need as much attention. Okay, that's the first section, is prioritizing your assets or your community. The second section is logging end of quarter occupancy. As I'm talking right now, we're in Q2. So this would be the Q2 plan, which would have been done at the end of, right at the beginning or the end of Q1, where you would log Q1's occupancy. Occupancy, it's my opinion or my advice to know the percentage, but also the unit count. So I put it a fraction, right? So put your total units for the asset, for the community, and then what the occupied, in other words, paid. So maybe they're not occupied, but they're being paid for, right? The end of the month, at the end of the quarter, excuse me. Then you're going to put the current end of quarter occupancy goal. So end of quarter, previous, and then what's the end of this quarter's occupancy goal? Each month of the quarter, you'll log the end of month occupancy. So you can track it. Boom, boom, boom. Again, I like to have it in numbers so you can see how many units are occupied of the total possible occupancy. Some people put both the percentage and the number, which is fine, but a percentage on its own only tells part of the story. So if you say 80%, well, 80% of what? Sales, in sales, we need hard number. So we need to say you need 10, you need 5, you need 25, you need to net 3, just give us a hard number. Much, much easier to track and to wrap our head around what's needed is with raw numbers instead of percentages, or maybe in addition to percentages. Okay, then the next section is to log actual. So you're the actual end of quarter occupancy, right? So you start with the goal and then you log, okay, end of month 1, end of month 2, end of month 3. The end of month 3 is really your quarter end occupancy. So where did you gain, lose? Did you meet the goal, over goal, under goal? Next section is your net gain goal. Net gain goal. So the occupancy percentage is a net gain of what for that one building? You're going to go community by community by community. So by the end of this quarter, community A needs to net 6 or needs a net 10. It needs a net 15. That would be a net 5 every month. Or it needs to net, whatever, needs a net 9 would be a net 3 each month. Then you're logging in and out in raw numbers. So the first section would be percentages, and then the next is the in and out. So in, out for each month. So the end of month. So you have 6 in, 4 out. It's a net 2. 3 in, 4 out, net -1. And you're logging that each month. It's imperative that your communities stay focused on in, out, net. Put it on the whiteboard. That's on occupancy, off occupancy, net at the end of the month. Ideally, we want to move more people in than move out. It doesn't happen every month. That's the goal. We're not responsible for the move outs, but we certainly need to be aware of how many there are, and are we getting a net gain, net 0, net negative? And while it's not a responsibility for move outs, revenue and sales does need to be aware and keep up with the move outs. If you have a large number of death, some unforeseen circumstances, and you have 2 months of really high move outs, you don't have to put added pressure on sales as long as sales is putting enough pressure on themselves. But you do need to be aware, oh gosh, okay, 2 months of heavy outs, need to really put the gas down. That's why it's so important to have a system and a process so that when you do need to sprint, you're better positioned to sprint and try to do even extra, that one extra call a day or whatever the strategy is or the tactical plan to maybe get 1 or 2 more move-ins than you typically would get to try to catch up to that net loss. Okay, then your next section would be your end of quarter net. So you're going to track your end of quarter occupancy, and then what does that look like as far as the net gain or loss? Okay, those are the raw numbers, just tracking very high level occupancy, raw numbers. Raw numbers means units. What are the units paid for over all units in the building or apartments in the building? And then the next section, I have the salesperson's name. I color code, so green, yellow, red. Green is go. Salesperson is highly skilled, great attitude, determined, disciplined, may need some coaching, certainly, we all do, but no concerns. Yellow is they're new, relatively new, and being coached up to green. They're bought in, they're leaning in, they're just not quite green to go. Yellow could mean they've slipped a bit, or they've kind of always sort of been in this yellow sort of category, maybe scale of 1 to 10. They're not 8s, 9s, and 10s, or 6s or 7s. I would say the question to ask yourself is this person coachable, or how coachable are they to grow to a green, an 8 or 9 or 10? You're not going to get where you need to go having an underperformer in the sales seat. We do no one any favors. Provide the support, the coaching necessary, not the top down. Did you do this? Did you do that? You got to get 10. Letting people slide is, again, doing no one any favors. So not having the critical conversations, getting frustrated and mad, and then just turning somebody after they're just magically not manifesting what you want without really giving them the opportunity and the coaching. Red is they're on a plan. Red is they've either slipped down to red, or they're not coachable, they're not growing, they're underperforming. Don't want someone in red very long. So with a red, they're on a plan. Now, there are times that people on a plan do, boom, bounce back. It kind of realigns expectations and, oh goodness, yes, okay, and then grow into that yellow and that green. More often someone in that red category may just not be a right fit, but certainly put them on a plan in writing so that everybody is clear on the benchmarks, the expectations, and why they're on the plan. Now they should know, because if we're salespeople and we're not selling and we're not bringing you checks and getting those deposits and getting move-ins, that's what we're paid to do. That's what salespeople are paid to do. So I color code green, yellow, red. The action or activity focus, and then there's the skill coaching focus. There's 2 sections there. Your action activity focus is that measurable action. Maybe it's getting your tour number to benchmark. Maybe it's outreach appointments. Maybe it's the CRM up to date, no past dues, better notes, more thorough discovery notes, putting in next steps. There's every single prospect has a next step. Every referrer has an action step. It's the number of calls, or the number of, maybe it's you've got the video messaging platform and it's not being used, and that's an action. So an action focused is something that can be measured in pretty much in numbers. So that's your action, doing something. The skill coaching is the measured in conversions, and that's really where coaching comes into play. So the skill, for example, let's say your tour to move in is way below benchmark. Let's say it's 11%, and your company benchmarks 30%. Well, that's below benchmark. So one of the coaching focus this quarter is to grow the tour to move in conversion from 11 to what? Measure it. So 11 to 30 and a quarter, is that possible? Sure. Is that what you want to do? Maybe. Maybe you want to go 11 to 20%. Game of inches. Maybe you want to go to 30%. If you get to 25%, it's not a big loss. You're still gaining, right? But put it down, write it down, not just improve closing ratios. You want to measure, and a skill can be, it could be better outcomes from outreach. So let's see, you're yielding 1 referral a month. and the conversion, you want to grow that to 2 referrals a month or from 2 to 4. And by the way, with outreach, it's appointments and calls. Sure, that's like counting calls and tours. But you're really measuring professional referrals or non-paid referrals received, even maybe an increase in word of mouth or friends, family, residents. What are you measuring? What outcomes? So with the skill and the coaching focus, you want to enter in the outcome that's being measured. And let's use that tour to move in example. So if you say, okay, we're going to do tour to move in, it's 11%, and the goal will be 30. So I'm going to go from tour to move in from 11 to 30% this quarter. So a lot of your coaching is going to be around this one metric. There's several factors, and it's outlined in the book, several factors that bubble up, if you will, that contribute to that outcome. You say, well, it's stronger closing ratio, a stronger closing skill. Sure, that's one, but it can also be better discovery, which turns into better tour plans, customizing tours, be team communication and team involvement in tours. What's the customer experience? The customer leaving with what to do, decide, or think about. That could be you need stronger recapping, stronger advising. Could be that follow-up, follow-through, and lead nurturing and post-tour prospect nurturing. It could be the cadence, the spacing of those attempts. Could be the quality of the conversations or the quality of the nurturing, if you will. Could be ED involvement. Could be ED thank you calls. Could be part of that conversion metric. Be as specific as possible. So again, your coaching calls are purposeful. You can say, okay, we're going to start with practicing the recap and giving advice before the customer leaves. Spend some sessions on that. You don't have to pound it into the ground to fatigue. But if you're hopping all over and being reactive and then moving and going this up and down, there's no consistency. It'd be like changing up, an exercise routine every day or skipping it for 3 weeks and then trying to jog 10 miles to get back into shape, or switching up, your diet every day and then trying to figure out what's working and what's not working, and got to be consistent. So in order to build skill, it doesn't mean that for 12 weeks you're doing exactly the same thing. But what it means is that your primary conversion metric or primary outcome that you're trying to improve. The very last section says coaching focus progress. That does not mean you're writing all your coaching notes there. For instance, if you put skill and coaching focus to your conversion from 11% to 30%, your progress at the end of the month, you could say conversion's gone from 11% to 17%. You could put still struggling with a recap, or discovery still weak, or working on building confidence for stronger advising. As a coach, it can be a challenge, and I challenge all of you who are coaching to pull out of the day-to-day and look on the business, or look on the person, look on the calls you're doing. And this could be hard because you're in the calls, right? So think about what's happening. What are the responses? What's the role play sound like? What's the follow-up like? What you got to look in the CRM. What's a determination like? What's the progress? What is to better determine what is the area you're going to continue supporting this person in? Are you going to shift it slightly? You're going to stay on this path? And that takes practice as well. So being a coach, keep in mind, is much, much more than kind of telling people what to do. And the sports examples or metaphors, analogies, I think work really well because a lot of us can relate, even though if we don't, I don't play sports, but the concept, right, of a coach, I think most of us can follow that because sports teams have coaches. They have multiple coaches. In some sports, there's tens and tens of different coaches. Of football in particular, you've got a team of coaches. Each one has its own specialty. Then you have the head coach. Well, they've got a playbook. They got that strategic plan. They practice their plays. They strategize. They watch, okay, what's the other team going to do? What are the better plays to do? Practice based on how these guys on the other team are playing, communication, and then they watch each player. They watch them interact with one another as a team. They watch their own skills, each individual skills, and pull them aside during practice and take it all apart. Say, okay, what we're going to do is drills. Okay, and we're going to drill this area, or we're going to exercise these muscles. They're going to help you be stronger in catching, throwing, tackling, blocking, whatever it is. It's the same concept where it's the team, your community team at play, and then each individual within that team, led by, certainly for sales, your sales director, ultimately led by your executive director. Your entire regional plan can be kept in this planner, very simple and high level, and just seeing boom, boom, boom. What is your progress? Experience that I've had working closely with regionals in the Grow Your Occupancy Regional Masterclass. I'll give you a couple examples. For those who are really bought in, using the planner, and it's not about, oh, hey, I downloaded this Excel spreadsheet and now I've improved my region. It's using the tool, right? Using your skills and your leaning into growth to, okay, what do I need to fill this out to do it? One regional I worked with, the quarter prior to us starting, the entire region had net 11 for the entire region. She was really bought in. She was very active in our coaching. The end of that first quarter, her region netted 66. So she went from a net of 11 to a net of 66. Another example is these two regionals from one company working together in one masterclass. They each did their own planner. The company, except for one community, month over month over month, and we tracked it for 12 months, every single community except for one grew in occupancy, and company occupancy went up almost 12 basis points. So it absolutely, where you put energy, you're going to get result. It's documenting, it's analyzing, it's working with your coach, working with your whomever it is that's helping you. Maybe it's joining some podcasts or joining some trainings if you don't have one-on-one coaching. It's practicing yourself so you're more comfortable as a coach, you're more effective as a coach, and you're more effective identifying the journey that you're taking others on, or that you're walking alongside others for each one of your communities. It's a fluid document. Your least priority, someone may leave the position and then it's moved up to that middle priority. Every once in a while, that top priority I shouldn't say every once in a while, when your top priority is really cooking along and doing real well, it can drop down to middle priority. I mean, it's fluid, but for one quarter, keep them categorized, and then you can color code. Green is go, green is growth, yellow is and red is uh-oh. Okay, so when you're color coding, you can eyeballs glance at the region. If you're looking on this as a VP and say, okay, so I see you net you add the net for each section. You can just see, okay, for this quarter, this month, your top priority netted -4. Okay, so now we got to, your original goal was to net 8. Now you have to net 12 because you net -4 the prior month, right? So you're just keeping track high level. Instead of asking granular questions, you're asking higher level questions, more strategic based, so you can build the action plan more clearly defined. So that is today's podcast, is the quarterly regional planner of resolving the occupancy puzzle. Reach out with comments if you're using it. Let me know how it's working for you. And if you have anything additional that works really well, please share, because we do learn certainly from one another. Stay tuned for our next episode of Resolving the Occupancy Puzzle. Please like, share, subscribe, jump on the website. We offer quarterly podcast or quarterly webinars for no charge. If you'd like to learn more, learn from industry experts, certainly join the polite persistence movement. Sales is not being pushy. Silence is not negative. We're politely persistent. Grab a t-shirt, join the movement, support your fellow salesperson. I'm Julie Podewitz. Thanks so much for listening to the Grow Your Occupancy Podcast.
This webinar is brought to you by SalesMail, the #1 personalized video app for senior living.
Built on a powerful ROI and an unmatched customer experience, SalesMail's App Store ratings tell the only story you need to know. Generating higher click-through and conversion rates, SalesMail is a video app of choice for sales and marketing pros everywhere. Day after day, SalesMail users leverage video to build brand loyalty, create human connection, quickly establish trust, stand out from competitors, and get desired results faster.